2018 is the year that the San Francisco Veg Society is celebrating its 50th anniversary. And on October 27th, this anniversary year, it's producing, and it really is an incredible production, the 19th annual World Veg Festival in San Francisco. I'm a latecomer to the vegetarian and vegan movement, so I'm going to focus more on its 50th anniversary year than on its founding. And while I talk, I don't want to dwell too long on any one image, not even this incredible t-shirt, which explains the purpose of a plant-based diet. So I'm going to show you pictures of food, delicious dishes, all vegan and all from 2018, starting with New Year's Day. That is, whenever I'm not annotating specific pictures. So here are some highlights from 2018 so far. At the end of January, we met at a community place at St. Cyprian's Episcopal Church, where board members Joyce Thornton and George Gibbs were recognized for being longtime members, going back to the 1970s. Members Dave and Roberta Pressman were also recognized for being long-standing members, and I was really impressed by their getting their San Francisco Retirement Center, San Francisco Towers, to label vegan dishes and have a vegan entree every day. I recognized Joyce Thornton from an event in 2017 when she assisted Lisa Brooks Williams cooking and vegucating at Nourish Cafe. So that was January. In February, we celebrated the San Francisco Vegetarian Society's 50th anniversary and the Year of the Dog at a Chinese New Year banquet. That was on Saturday, February 17th. And we had an 11-course vegan meal at Enjoy Vegetarian Restaurant in San Francisco's Chinatown. In April, we celebrated Earth Day, and San Francisco Veg Society members met at 24th and Valencia to carry a 40-foot-long banner saying, "Are you denying climate change? Meat is a leading cause." Dan was in charge. And then we also had a booth, and there was wonderful cooking, and you can see the public interest here in this tart made of totally animal-free products, dates, pecans, cashews. Here's a recipe. And then we also met at the San Francisco Library in the Paley Room to begin planning the World Veg Festival in October. In late April, we did the planning for October. In June, the San Francisco Veg Society met at Cibelle's, and that was one of my favorite meetings. That was the Cibelle's on 9th, near Judah in San Francisco. The manager's daughter, a vegan, has created an incredible vegan menu. Can we linger here just a little bit? It was such a sensational meeting. We accomplished so much. Here we're being served. You can see my hair kind of glowing. Halos should be around the pizza. The wonderful members, the wonderful t-shirts. And even though here I'm on the outside looking in, it was very nice to be in and part of this. We also had a booth on Pride weekend. Here's the booth near the Public Library, the Asian Art Museum, and the Tenderloin Garden, People's Garden, Community Garden. Here's Greg with his Pride t-shirt. And this is Julia, who is a life coach for vegans. In September, we joined the March for the Climate, Jobs, and Social Justice. Here you can see our banner again and other veg organizations. Protecting animals from abuse. And here's the booth at the Civic Center. Here's a wonderful shirt that answers that question sometimes people ask, what do vegans eat? But before I show you some more beautiful pictures of what vegans eat, I'd like to review other highlights of 2018. In mid-January, there was an article about the pleasure of being a vegan. I think that's important. We need to be positive in our messages so that people know we can have wonderful meals without contributing to animal suffering and global warming. January was also the month that Jonathan Kaufman's book on hippie food, Changing the Way We Eat, came out, reminding us of an earlier movement towards a plant-based diet, maybe before vegan food was such a pleasure. I paid $50 to hear him at the Commonwealth Club, and then we got to hear him for free at Wellness Central at the Opera Plaza in San Francisco, where Patricia Coots serves delicious vegan dishes for only $15 every Wednesday evening. January was also the month that Ferdinand the Bull came to movie theaters with its message about how we can put an end to unnecessary animal suffering. I met this vegan family at the Women's March on January 21st, and my letter to the editor about a plant-based diet appeared in the San Francisco Chronicle on January 24th. At the end of January, the Saudi prince, Khalid, announced his plans to open at least 10 vegan restaurants and cafes throughout the Middle East. Here's a map. And here he is, eating at Shaya in San Francisco. In February, Califia Farms announced that they were offering dairy-free yogurt. They said that Califia was on a mission to help achieve whole body health and to encourage wider adoption of plant-based foods and beverages for the good of our planet. Then February was also the month that a couple of friends and I discovered how vegan-friendly Solano Avenue in Alameda is. Look at this list of what they offer at Dewar's Ice Cream Shop, Cashew Ice Cream Shop. Everything's vegan, and so instead of indicating what's vegan, they indicate what's not. We saw other welcoming signs too. March was the month of my post-Oscar party, where I provided movie-themed dishes, all vegan. We had a peach for Call Me By Your Name, mushrooms and toast for Phantom Thread, key lime pie for The Shape of Water, sandwiches and lemonade for The Post, Eskimo pies instead of Dove bars for I, Tonya, Fruit Loops for 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri, wafers for Lady Bird, booze and tea for Churchill, water for Dunkirk, pizza and ice cream for the Florida Project, and peanuts and beer for The Greatest Showman. Oh, and I forgot to mention the milk in Get Out. There was even an article about that written by the director and writer about how milk was considered something of white supremacy and something that a lot of blacks can't drink. Interesting. March was also the month that Leah Garchik ran an article about the children at Bessie Carmichael Elementary School and their stories about imaginary superpowers they'd acquired by eating vegetables. Here they are in the Tenderloin Community Garden, and one little girl envisioned a superpower in which, after eating carrots, she could use her hand to build a kind of instant house. And then I told the homeless, go inside the house. A lot of the children at Betsy Carmichael's are homeless too, and 100% of them are eligible for the school lunch. So it's wonderful that they're learning about vegetables, healthy habits that they can help them through all of their lives. In April, The End of Meat was shown at Wellness Central, and it was shown later in the year at the Jewish Film Festival. April was also the month when I attended a memorial service where everything served was vegan and all was delicious. Here is the lovely friend who became a vegetarian at the age of 16 and a vegan at the age of 50, at a time when it was much more difficult than it is now. May was a particularly exciting month in 2018. Shortly after San Francisco Chronicle columnists Maria and Ross reported on Nancy Skinner's SB 1138 to offer vegan options in hospitals and prisons, it was unanimously passed by the California Senate. Mothers Out Front, a new environmental-focused organization I joined last year, went to Sacramento to support a fossil-free bill, SB 100, and at lunch I met 2 other vegan members who understand the impact our diet has on the environment. In May, when OWL, Older Women's League, had a focus on the environment, we served all vegan food. The president of OWL, Glenda Hope, who was featured in the San Francisco Chronicle when she retired from her job as Presbyterian minister in the Tenderloin, where she worked 40 years, promotes a plant-based diet in her sermons as well as in the rest of her life. Wellness Central showed the documentary What You Eat Matters on May 30th, and an Oxford study confirmed that what we eat matters when it published a study showing that avoiding meat and dairy is the single biggest way to reduce our negative impact on Earth. David Suzuki's foundation also announced this. The podcasts on Neil Zachariah's show Eat for the Planet are always good, but one that particularly got my attention was with Christy Middleton, interviewed on how to get schools, hospitals, and other institutions to go meatless. The vegan stand-up comic chef of Asafi of Flying Falafel entertained us at Wellness Central on June the 6th. He said the difference between a vegan and a vegetarian is a vegetarian still have some friends. On the 4th of July, a group of high school students from Lean Gap, an entrepreneurial summer program at San Francisco State University, spoke about the vegan startup they were launching, www.acumeal.com. In late June, the documentary Eating Animals, based on the 2009 best-selling book by Jonathan Safran Foer and narrated by co-producer Natalie Portman, finally came out. There was a positive review by G. Allen Johnson in the San Francisco Chronicle. In July, WeWork announced that for the good of the environment, they wouldn't have meat at WeWork meetings and wouldn't reimburse expenses for meals containing meat. Then the Institute for Agriculture and Trade Policy published the first of its kind study quantifying emissions from 35 of the world's largest meat and dairy companies. The headline says, "Big meat and dairy are heating up our planet." Tara Duggan of the San Francisco Chronicle wrote an article on the future of food, a design perspective on the table. Food designer Yunwen Tu created food cubes to show the carbon footprint of meat, pasta, vegetables, and fruit. So all the cubes in the balance are the same size, but the weight of each differs depending on the carbon footprint, so people can better understand the effect of what we eat on the environment. Also in August, San Francisco Chronicle published Sarah Rich's 2-page spread, Fruit Gets the meat treatment. Chefs take charge in plant-based revolution. A fascinating report on how leading chefs are using cooking methods usually reserved for meat to cook scrumptious vegetables and fruit. August was also the month that the first Black-led vegan food festival came to Brooklyn, with keynote speakers Seba Johnson, the first Black woman to ski in the Olympics, bodybuilder and grassroots activist Jahina Malik, and Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams, who was also a senator from New York and a police officer in New York City for 22 years. He went vegan because he believed that a plant-based diet saved his life, and he wants to save other lives. Even though summer isn't officially over until September 21st, I'm going to end with the Climate March on September 8th. I mentioned that earlier. The Berkeley resolution, though, that to have plant-based food at meetings every week, and New York City's Eat for the Climate Week, and of course the World Veg Fest that the San Francisco Veg Society is putting on Saturday, October 27th, 2018, will be covered later. In the meantime, here's something to gaze upon. It's the poster for the San Francisco Veg Society's 19th annual World Veg Fest, a wonderful way to celebrate the 50th anniversary, 1968 to 2018. See you there.